So a lot of the time, guys, I'm sure you're aware that cheaper sometimes can mean less good. However, also sometimes cheaper can mean just as good. And this is one of those instances. This is one of those absolutely rare beauties that has very little value and yet is an absolutely stunning gun. This is an Aremberri Mach. To sort of start, it's worth giving a slight background on this gun. Victor Aremberri, the guy who designed this gun, or pinched the design for this gun, or used the design of this gun, used to work for Perazzi, making the MD6. The MD6, well, it looks exactly like this, it's just made by Perazzi. He left Perazzi and went out on his own and made a gun of this design. This is the Aremberri Mach. The Aremberri Mach started, I believe, in the early 70s, but Aremberri was closed down by 1980. Due to a number of financial factors. So here you have it, the Spanish-made MT6. We'll finish up the history quickly that after 1980, AYA took this design on and made it the MD2. You'll also see a large amount of influence in this in the Keeman KM4 of, again, both of Spanish origins. So what is it and why is it actually any good? Well, the first point we'll talk about is the price point. These Machs are not really worth a great deal. You can pick one of these up for like 400 quid. I believe this one was picked up at auction for quite a lot less than that. People just do not value them, and yet they are actually a really well-made gun. So starting at the back, this is an aftermarket fitted pad. You see them usually with a standard track pad, but I've seen them with all sorts. A gun that's been around for, you know, best part of 50 odd years, nearly 60 years, actually will have had some alterations. Quality of walnut is high, quality of stock finish usually is nowhere near. This has been refinished. You'll see a lot of them are actually lacquered. But again, in older guns, they've had a lot of life. Trying to find any consistency in finish or ones that have been well looked after is a little bit harder, I expect you'd expect. They are hand checkered and the checkering really is quite beautiful, little skip there and very well done. The wood metal fit on this is a little bit of inside the edge, but I think that was a case of shrinkage as well as trying to remove some of the damage done to the stock. They were at the factory very, very good. Very good indeed. They are such an exquisitely made gun. Inside, it's a Perazzi MT6, meaning it's built off of decent quality V-spring action, which means your trigger pulls are just exceptional, actually just exceptional. On the top here, you have a beautifully carved safety catch. It's just, I think it's just really nice. Everything about this gun feels quality, and because it is, they're actually made very well. Aremberri also made some side-by-sides. I've never been particularly enamored by them, but I've always been a big fan of these. So, you have the Boss-style lockup and action, and this is where it starts to get, well, it will tickle you if you like the Boss-style guns. The profile on this action is unbelievably low, because you have your two locking points here, your two draw points, and your two hinge pins. It is, to all intents and purposes, a Boss action gun that you can pick up for 400 quid that's actually made of decent steel. So, and the point actually is they're made of decent steel is that most of them remain very, very tight. The barrels on this particular beauty are 18.3 bored, so they are very tightly bored. You have a solid midrib and a ventilated top rib with a parallel 8mm helical cut rib. They have the classic stick-in plastic sight, although this one is missing that. They're not uncommon to put in, but much nicer to have a sort of a more modern screw-in bead, I think, personally. You will see some of these actually with a missing mid-ribs. They will actually have the floating barrels between them joined at the front and back. You start to see sort of the visions of quality actually in the finish of the action here. It is hand finished and it is well put together. The fore-end loop, for example, is beautifully filed. Although they could have taken the finish to a mirror finish, it's all taken down to a relatively quality finish, I should say. You know, you're not looking at Boss quality or Perazzi quality or modern Perazzi quality, but in terms of value for money, you'll struggle to find anything that is hand finished to this standard anywhere. They feel great on the lockup, as all Boss actions do, where they sit on their ejector springs just nicely, they ride, you can feel them locking in, it just feels substantial. The fore end is also quite exciting. Because of this low profile loop, and the actually very short iron, that allows the forend to be extremely low profile. But where it's a semi-beaver tail, still fills the hand nicely with a slim action. And to be fair, probably the only thing dated on this gun here is the size of the grip. You can't help but think, what a gun. What an amazing gun. They handle beautifully, they balance absolutely perfectly, about just in front of the hinge pin there, but it is about 1/8 of an inch in front of the hinge pin, if that. They are just one of those guns you can't help but pick up and go, this is punching well above its weight. Again, it depends what you want in a gun. If you want gizmos and modern tech, this is nowhere near contention. If you're looking for a beautiful gun, I think the engraving on them is not of the highest of quality by any standards. I mean, there is barely any engraving anyway, and what is there is stamped. Apart from the trigger guard, the single fixed trigger is insanely crisp, and the engineering on these guns, the design is absolutely top notch, as you'd expect with any design that's basically a nicked Perazzi. And you can pick this up for less than just about any new gun on the market if you look in the right place. That to me, I need to share the Aremberri Mach. What a gun. Even then, you look at the stock dimensions, they are actually, where this was a trap edition, has a quality dimension to it in terms of it competes in the modern market. It's quite high. It is parallel combed, this particular one, but it is good, it's big, it's thick, and actually you take this out and probably run with the best, and you can do that for like 300 odd quid. Are these guns a bargain? Yes. Will you struggle to find spare parts? Yes, they're not an actual carbon copy inside of anything current, and as such spares can be a little bit hard to find. Although, given that they are built around a common-ish action, most people will be able to buy blanks or at least make something up for them. Not that they break in particular. That said, if you're buying a 400 quid gun, it will depend obviously. To have something handmade to fit in here is not going to be particularly cheap, but it is nonetheless epic. As long as you buy it whilst it's working, you shouldn't run into too many issues. What an epic gun for absolutely no money. I personally love them. I'd love to know your thoughts. And if you didn't know they existed, well, you do now. Welcome to the club. Please don't drive the prices up. Guys, it's been brilliant. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. It's been the Aremberri Mach, one of the coolest guns you can buy on a budget. See you later.